team, which I believe a special last year showed them they're still using DEI engines, at least valve covers from DEI. They have some older equipment, and they keep recycling it and they keep, rebuilding it. It keeps averaging around a top 20, maybe a top 15 finish, and he's finally getting in to where he should be running up there with his teammate Ross Chastain, who's averaging about a 20 place finish and is right on the cusp of being in potential of making the chase. It's going to be pretty hard for him to do that, but he was in potential for make that chase. So
absolutely, and we're going to go more into that next week. On the line is Steve from Racing Underdogs. You can check out Racing Underdogs on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and do you have a website?
I am working on a website, but I'm a great procrastinator. So one day I will tell you about it. But for now, right. Twitter.
All right, so Twitter, Racing Underdogs. Steve, thanks for coming on, and we'll have you back next week, and we'll have you on for a good time slot.
All right, Chief. You take care. Have a good one.
All right. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Our next guest is already on the line. Football player, Jake Ceresna. Jake, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. This is kind of a funny one. Me and you were actually cousins. We don't really know each other. I think I knew you when you were younger, and I heard about you playing football for New Fairfield High School, and you went on to Southern, and I was watching your games. They would stream and listen to them, and it was kind of the Jake Ceresna show. Even in Portland, it was constantly Jake Ceresna. Every second, the name was being mentioned. And if you want to just go into that briefly, your high school into your college career. This is Jake Ceresna, and he's on the Hollering with Hammer radio show on VictoryLaneRadio.com.
Yeah, yeah, we have a big family to start with, so I have so many cousins and nephews and uncles that I there's too many to count. But so high school football, went to a small school, New Fairfield, Connecticut. Not too many people come out of there and play college football. So my junior and senior year was really when I thought that I'd have a chance to go on and play at the next level. So really my senior year, I dedicated, was in the gym throughout my entire high school career, but really focused on it going into my senior year, worked hard, had a great senior year. Even, as a team, we didn't do too well, but I would have liked to win a couple more games. We went 3-7 that year, but anyway, had a good career. Through the recruiting process, I really didn't have a lot of help. And being a high school kid, the only offers really on the table were Division III schools and a couple of D2 schools that were, getting bullied every year, going 1-9 and stuff like that. So I kind of had to do my recruiting on my own. I started emailing schools, Division I schools, Division II schools, everywhere. I must have emailed at least, 50, 75 schools, hey, check me out. These are my highlights. Let me know if you're interested. And I remember I emailed Southern. It was very late in the process. It had to be December, almost a month after I finished playing. And they got back to me really quick. And I hit it off with a guy who recruited me, Coach Godek. He's a really good guy out of Southern Connecticut. He's the head coach there now. And anyway, they brought me on a trip. They gave me a scholarship, and it was definitely the best move out of high school to go. So I committed there, I think, February. So 2 months after I found out that about Southern Connecticut. And then from there, just worked hard during the off season, got there in, the fall, worked really hard. A couple injuries happened, and, I was a freshman starting my first ever college game, week 1 against IUP, which was, I got my butt whooped that game, but it was this is college football. And that whole season I just worked hard, split the rest of the year with a guy who was older than me. And then after that season, I decided that I wanted to change my major. and that although football was good at Southern Connecticut, I really wasn't too fond of the school. So I transferred to Cortland, which is a great decision, probably one of the best decisions I ever made. And through Cortland, my first year there, I tore my labrum in my shoulder, which hurt me a lot. And, you know, I thought I was going to go in there and start because going from Division II to Division III, I thought, hey, like, I should be able to just roll kids over here. Didn't really work out that way. I got benched behind another guy who had been there for a while, and it kind of was a lesson. Learned a lot from it. Worked even harder. Went through that shoulder injury. Got surgery at the end of the year, and then became a starter. And had a very good junior and senior year. And then eventually went on to get some professional opportunities.
Okay, now a couple things that you had said I'd like to go into. The first thing is, what was the issue at Southern? If you could talk about it, you had said you didn't really like it there. Like, what was the issue you had at Southern Connecticut?
Well, it was a big. Mostly it had to do with my major. I wanted to go into like the exercise science field and pursue like a physical therapy type deal, and they only had athletic training there. And then on top of that, I'm not sure, you know, it just didn't, can't really describe it. Just didn't really sit right. Like me being there. It was just, I just knew that wasn't the place for me. It was weird. I just knew that that's not where I was meant to be for the next 3 years of my career. And so,
right.
That's why I transferred to Cortland.
Now, when you went to Cortland, like you had said, you thought you were going to just go in because you were Division II, coming to Division III. And, like, what was that mindset, sitting behind somebody else with the mindset that you had just said, you know, you should be the guy starting because of where you just came from? Like, how did you work all that out? Because whatever you did, you worked it out great. Because, like I said, when I would watch the streams and listen to it, it was the Jake Ceresna show every 2 minutes with the announcer. And you guys won a lot of games. I think your senior season, you went to, what was it? You went to the playoffs, correct?
Yeah, my senior season, we made it to the second round of the playoffs, and that was the farthest we've ever got since I was there, and it was a big turnaround for my junior year when we were 5-5.
Right. So not to jump, let's just go back. What was the mindset? Like, I mean, obviously something happened because you ended up taking the position and excelling in Cortland. So how did you handle that, sitting behind somebody that you thought you should be in front of?
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily think I should have been in front of him. Like, he definitely earned that spot over me. I think what it was I just went in there almost overconfident and cocky that, like, oh, like, I'm just going to come in here and just dominate. And that wasn't the case. It's good football in Division III. That's what a lot of people don't understand. They think, oh, you know, I'll just go D3 and just have a great career. It's very competitive, especially in the divisions that Cortland plays in. And so, you know, just went in overconfident, and I didn't train as hard as I should have. I didn't like get after it every day and continue to grind. I just thought, hey, you know, I'll come in there and just I'll be the starter. So I was lazy in my training going into that year, and then on top of that, you know, sat behind the guy and then got hurt. So it was definitely tough. It was probably one of the toughest seasons that I went through. But without that season, I don't think I'd be here where I am today, because it propelled me. You know, when you sit behind someone all an entire season, you kind of get that.
Absolutely.
And so it made me work harder. It made me have more drive, and it got me to start my next year. You know, I came in the next year like, hey, I don't care what's going on. I'm gonna show the coaches that they can't keep me off the field. Like, I'm too valuable to keep off the field. And I killed it going into that camp. And from there, I just had a great junior and senior season.
Absolutely, and I think you proved that. Now let's go into the pros. Now, I watched the entire draft. I read everything there was. Once again, like you had mentioned, we do have a huge family, and I'm sure I saw you when you were a little kid and stuff, in upstate New York. But and I watched the draft specifically looking for your name. Some people had you. One guy had you out of New Jersey, had you possibly in the 6th round. For a team looking for defense. Now, how was it for you on draft? Watching the draft, like what was that like for you? Did you think you were going to be drafted? And if you could go into the draft, like the experience of that.
Stressful is the first word that comes up. It was definitely stressful. I knew there was probably like little to zero chance that I was going to get drafted, but you still watch it, like, just in case, that, like, there's probably maybe, like, less than 1% chance, but you're still watching it just in case that happens, and you just want to be ready. So it was a lot of sitting around. I didn't really watch the day I didn't really watch the draft the first 2 days because I knew that I wasn't going until the later round. So I worked out during that time to kind of just, like, calm my nerves and the stress that was going on, and then directly after the draft, I knew it was going to be hopefully when I was getting calls, and there was probably like a 5 or 10 minute period when the draft ended, and from when I first started receiving a call from the Chiefs and Giants, that it was just extremely stressful and nerve wracking, and it was definitely tough to deal with because everything that you've been working for. It's your dream as a kid, so everything you've been working for as a kid is like coming down to this moment. It's like, is someone gonna give me that opportunity or not? And so, yeah, it was definitely very stressful on draft
But
day.
it must have also been an extreme excitement because, like you said, that's what you built your life towards was getting to the NFL, and now you had the Giants and the Chiefs on the phone with you, so obviously, you ended up heading to the Chiefs. How did that work out, and how was your experience with that?
So yeah, like once I started getting calls, it was a lot of excitement. So the Chiefs invited me to a rookie minicamp, and they were really the first team to jump on me and call me right after the draft and extend the invitation. The Giants waited. They called me after the draft, but they didn't extend the invitation until the next day. So me and my agent discussed it, and we said, hey, let's go with the team that expressed the most interest in you. So going to the Chiefs rookie minicamp, it was a good experience. It was definitely a little wake-up call to see, the size of everyone in the NFL. And, you go from Division III, I was one of the biggest guys, and now you get to the NFL, and it's like, hey, like I'm almost on the underside of being a defensive lineman. Like, I'm a little lighter than most. And so that was definitely a big wake-up call. It was a good 3-day camp. I didn't play as well as I would have liked to play, but I definitely left it all out there, given the circumstances. And at the end of the day, they decided they didn't sign any defensive linemen at the end of the rookie camp. So it just didn't work out.
Okay, and then what went on from there? Because I know you headed up to Canada. Was there more NFL calling you before you headed to Canada, or?
So after that rookie minicamp, it was kind of, there wasn't really any, it kind of went radio silent after then. And, I was kind of bumming about the Chiefs thing, but still working out hard and just like hoping that, me and my agent talked about it. He said, your next opportunity is going to be during training camp. If someone gets injured, that's going to be your next chance to sign. And so I was kind of waiting for that, just going to be training and getting ready in case I get a call. And then I graduated the next week after the Chiefs camp because I was still at school. And I remember just being at home getting my hair cut, and this Canada number called me and left a voicemail. It was like 3 days after I graduated. I was like, wow, this is interesting. And it was the Ottawa Red Blacks. And my agent called me immediately. He said, hey, Ottawa Red Blacks are on the phone. They want to sign you to a contract and bring you into camp. And I was like, oh, awesome. So they sent the contract in the next couple of days. I signed it, and he was like, hey, be ready. Camp should start in probably a week. And I was like, okay. Then I get a phone call the next day, and they're like, hey, we need you tomorrow. And so that was kind of a whirlwind too, because I didn't really know the official date that I was going up there, and then all of a sudden it's, hey, you got to come up here tomorrow. And I just decided to drive up there. It was a 7-hour trip. I just said, hey, have my car. I'll be up there. And I just trucked the 7-hour trip right after they called me, made it up there for camp.
Now, I personally know about the CFL. I've been a CFL fan for a long time. I'm a Edmonton Eskimos fan. And I saw you sign up there, and, you know, I thought that was cool. People don't really give the CFL the credit. People down here in the United States really don't pay attention to it. The CFL is kind of hardcore. It's a great league. Now, you suffered an injury up there, correct?
Yeah. The CFL is definitely a great league. I met a lot of great people up there. It's a fun league too. I had a lot of fun when I was up there playing. More high pace, faster, and as like a defensive lineman, it's almost a pass every play. So that's kind of your dream, just to be able to pass rush almost every play. So I had a lot of fun up there. But yeah, about a week into camp, it was a freak play. I got tripped up, and my body turned a certain way where when I hit the ground, I kind of punched the ground, and I broke 2 bones in my hand, my 4th and 5th metacarpal.
Okay, so that kind of puts you out with the Ottawa Redblacks. Where did you go from there? I mean, what was your mindset from that point? Like, what did you do from that point on?
Yeah, so I saw a doctor up there. He said it was going to be about an 8 to 10 week injury, and so they had to make the decision to release me because I was still a rookie, and I didn't really prove myself yet. So from there, they liked me a lot when I was up there, so they said, hey, we'll sign you to the practice roster down the road when you get healthy. So after I left there, my main thought was, hey, I'm going to be going back there once this injury's healed up. So I just kept training, even like through the injury, just stayed ready for that call. And then I remember I got healthy, and they were talking about, hey, we can't sign you for a couple of weeks or until our roster expands. And the Packers gave me a call, and they brought me in for a workout at offensive lineman. I never played that position before in college. Like, last time I played it was high school, so I did well in the workout, but I didn't have the technique down, and they didn't feel comfortable throwing me out there without me having that base of knowledge. So they said, hey, maybe later on in the year we'll bring you along. And then so then I was hoping for that to work out, so I kept training. And then the Jets gave me a call, and they said, hey, we want to bring you in for, like, they gave me a call about a week later. They're like, hey, we want to bring you in for a workout at defensive lineman. We have a spot. And so I shipped off to there to do that workout.
Yeah, so now when the Jets call you and you know their defense, you know, Did you, like, what was your mindset going into that? I mean, you know, something had to happen for you to get a spot on their defense. And, you know, you go into preseason, you're on TV. I mean, that had to be like the highlight. I mean, right? I mean, you're on television, you're in a preseason game with the Jets, and you eventually got cut. But how was that experience going in with the Jets, playing alongside that defense?
It was a great experience. The Jets, they're known for, they have one of the best defensive lines in the entire NFL. You know, they have Muhammad Wilkerson, Leonard Williams, Sheldon Richardson. They got a bunch of really good guys on that team. So when I had my workout and they eventually signed me, it was a crazy experience. It was awesome to, play alongside of those guys. I learned a tremendous information, like a lot of information from being up there. Their defensive line coach, Pepper Johnson, I think he was a great coach. He taught a lot, and he really cared for you as a player. So I love playing for them. But the biggest thing I realized playing up there was that, you know, coming from Division III to the NFL, you're like, whoa, like, am I going to be able to do this? Like, can I play with these guys? And after the first practice, I was like, hell yeah. Like, it's just football at the end of the day, and they're just regular people, you know? So I think that was like the biggest thing I learned up there is they're just normal guys like you and me. And football's football no matter where you go. So I played well up there. That preseason game that I played in against the Redskins was absolutely incredible. It was a great experience, and there's nothing like playing in the NFL, I'll tell you that. It was awesome.
Absolutely. So now, where does the future go from now? Because, you know, I see on Facebook you're still training. So, you know, what does the future hold? What are you looking at now in terms of, I mean, like I read a thing on CBS Sports, I can't quote it 100%, that about the Jets cutting you because of their defense, but how talented you were. That's on CBSSports.com. I saw that tagged on social media with your name in it about how talented you are, and other teams will be looking at you, but with the Jets, you weren't a fit. So have other teams contacted you since the Jets cut you? Or, you know, what's the future looking like for you?
No, yeah, so since the Jets released me, I'm just waiting for, you know, my next opportunity. I haven't been contacted by other teams yet, but I'm hoping, you know, I have good film. I'm hoping that I get a call from an NFL team for a potential practice roster down the road, or, you know, hopefully I could also go back to the Canadian Football League if that doesn't work out.
Absolutely. Canadian Football League, like I said, you know, people in the United States really, you know, don't really know too much about it, but it's a great league. It's super competitive. You know, you were on the roster up there in Ottawa with former NFL players. So,
yeah,
you know, that's the way that league is. And guys basically shuttle back and forth. I mean, you know, there's been guys just like you came out of there. You came out with an injury this year and ended up on a preseason NFL team. So, you know, and that happens. So is there anything, do you got anything going on? Anything, any social media sites you want to promote? Any websites? Anything you got?
No, not at this time. You could follow me on my Instagram at Cerez58. It's CEREZ58, and on Twitter at Jake Ceresna. But as far as anything else going, not too much as right now.
Okay, now I have one more question. This was a little out there. I see pictures of you on social media in the MMA gym. Now, are you just training there, or is that a possibility going into MMA? Because I see you with those guys.
Yeah, no. I used that gym is also connected to a physical therapy clinic, and I used to work in the clinic. So the owner of that gym I'm very close with. His name is Paul Ciato. He's a good guy, and he owns that gym and he owns the physical therapy clinic. So attached. That's just like a regular gym with the MMA, like it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu attached to it. And so I'm in there working out a lot because it's close to my home when I'm around. But no, I don't think I'm going to be pursuing MMA or anything like that anytime soon.
Okay, so we won't be seeing Jake Ceresna now in a UFC cage, because I see the pictures with those guys. You standing with those guys. I was just wondering about that. So yeah. I appreciate you coming on the show last minute like this. You know, we've been trying to work out something, but I mean, you've been super busy. You know, one point you were in Canada, I was trying to get you on, and then you were with the Jets last week. So I really appreciate you coming on, man. And I'd like to have you on in the future if you got something going on. You know, if you get signed or anything, man, you're more than welcome to just get a hold of me, and I'd like to have you back on.
Yeah, no problem. It was a pleasure being on, and yeah, I'm hoping for that. Definitely something's going to work out in the future. So if I'm back on the show, that's a good sign.
Absolutely. All right, Jake. Thank you very much for coming on. That was Jake Ceresna, football player, out of college. Ended up going to the Chiefs camp. Ended up on television preseason with the Jets, and he's going to land somewhere. Absolutely. Jake Ceresna. So as we move on, we're going to end the show. In a couple of minutes, we have 4 bull riders. CowboyCoffee2.com bull riders out of Kentucky. Up and coming guys. It's going to get a little rowdy. If you got kids listening, you might want to turn it off at 8:30 when these guys start calling. Who knows what will be said. But yeah, that was a great interview. I've been wanting to have him on. I followed his career. Like I said, he's actually related to me, and I probably met him when he was a kid. But like he said, I come from a huge family, and I find new relatives every day. They kind of crawl out of rocks, it seems. But I followed his entire college career, basically from the end of his high school career right into college, and then into Canada and into the NFL, and I know he'll make it back. I mean, CBS Sports put up a thing today. I think it was yesterday. They put up a thing about how, he's got the talent. It's just he did not fit with the Jets. The Jets defense is. I mean, what do you say about the Jets defense? It's one of the tops. So yeah, we're going to get into some bull riders in a few minutes here. Just wait for them to call in. Like I said, next week we got Scott Sanders, former professional baseball player, and as of right now, Machine Gun Mike Oliver, former world champion boxer, and he's actually out of Hartford, Connecticut. And it's going to be great getting him on.
You have one of the writers on. All right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Now, up next, we have 4 Cowboy Coffee Chew and Cowboy Up for a Cure bull riders on the line. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Now, who's this? I have
Dakota Walker.
All your numbers jumbled. Now, Dakota Walker.
Yes, sir.
How's everything going tonight, man? Dakota Walker is an up-and-coming cowboy out of Kentucky. He's going to be chasing a dream. Me and Dakota are actually working on big things beyond, just local bull riding and stuff. About, we're looking into possibly, pushing it even further for these 4 guys that are calling in, and they're Cowboy Coffee 2 guys or Cowboy Up for a Cure. Dakota, if you wanna take a couple minutes to tell people about you, what you do, what you've done, and where you're going, while we're waiting for the other guys to get on the line.
All right. Well, I'm 21 years old. I'm daddy to a 2-year-old single father. That's my world right there. That bull riding. Been bull riding for the past about 6 months. Really got into it once I got back from the military. Spent a little time in the military, basic training. My knee gave out that it didn't really go where I wanted it to go. So I started looking at the bigger picture. I've always dreamed about being a bull rider, and I was like, as soon as I got back, no better time than to make it than now. So I got started, and I ain't really got no big achievements yet. Working on it, but we're riding with Cowboy Up for a Cure. Basically, that's an organization that's reaching out for cancer because everybody's going to get cancer. And we got Cowboy Coffee Chew, and that's I ain't never put nothing like it in my mouth before. I can tell you that. But right now,
Cowboy Coffee Chew is a great product. There's no chemicals. It's just coffee. It gives you energy.
Okay, guys, please turn on your radio. Okay? Thank you.
Hey guys, you can turn on your radios, please. So yeah, like I was saying, Dakota. Yeah, we're having an issue here when somebody has a radio up.
Somebody's got the radio on. Let's turn them down.
That fix the
problem? Is everybody there now? Yeah, we're having a technical problem.
No, you're good now.
Okay, who's on the line right now?
All four.
This is
Okay.
Nick.
Okay, hey, Nick, how you doing, Nick? Nick, I'm going to save you to the end because we're going to get rowdy with you, Nick. # be handy.
Be handy. Oh, I got a story for you, baby.
Good. That's good. We're going to hold you to the end because we're going to get rowdy. Is Tyler Lee on the line?
Tyler Lee is on the line.
All right, Tyler.
I can't believe he picked up a phone call.
Yeah, Tyler Lee's been lost in action. If you'd like to go in for a couple minutes and tell everybody who you ride for, what you're about, what you've done in the future for you, if you'd like to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I got started out about 3 years ago, and I was kind of looking for a way. You know, my mom got sick with she got diagnosed with cancer, and she's been fighting it for about 7 years. And Dakota came along, and he said, hey, man, I'm looking into getting into bull riding. I said, well, man, let's hit it, and let's see where we can go from here. And we started out, I rode up there at the horse park at the Cowboy for a Cure rodeo, and the lady that was putting on, Rebecca, she asked us if we could kind of get the word out about her organization, and, she would kind of back us. And then after that, me and Dakota, we kind of hit a couple CBR events. Then we started riding with Disney Mountain. And we've kind of just been hitting it from there. If it wasn't for Dakota and, my family pushing me, my mom's been my biggest supporter. She's been, pushing me to do it. And my little brother, Braden Lee, he's only 13, man. He's out there riding with us, and he jumps right on, and he goes right on it, man. And, I got great friends backing me, and, me and Dakota both are open, and everybody else, Nick and Cody, all of us, we're planning on hopefully making it up to PRCA and, and hit it from there. But, we're just trying to spread the word, about the whole cancer thing, and, because everybody's going to get it, man. Everybody's going to get it. It's, it's tough, but.
Now, I would personally like to have the lady that you mentioned for the Cowboy Up Cancer Cure there. I'd like to have her come on the air. So, off air, we'll exchange information. I'd like to have her come on and talk about her organization and what she's doing. So we'll move on. Mr. Collins, you on the phone, sir?
Yes, sir. Wild horses couldn't set me away.
All right, so we're gonna start with this. We got a little issue with your name, son. How do you say your first name?
Cody.
I hear you filed a grievance on me about your first name. How do you say it?
I say Cody.
Okay, you say Cody, but your name is spelled Coty. So I say
yes,
Cody,
sir.
but you say Cody. Okay, so we'll go with Cody. Cody Collins, # be handy, # from the dirt road to the car wash. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and explain what you do in bull riding, where you've been, where you're going, who you're sponsored with, and get a couple minutes to go ahead and talk about anything you'd like to with that.
All right. Man, I started off when I was about 12 years old. I mean, I don't really know where I kind of picked up on it at. My family, nobody in my family rodeos. I come from a cattle farm family and coal mines and stuff like that. But as long as I could ever remember, man, that was just my biggest dream. My daddy told me when I turned 12 years old, he put me on. And actually, on my 12th birthday, he put me on. So I started hitting junior deals in junior high school rodeos. I rode with them for a long time, and I linked up with Disney Mountain down there. Got in their junior bull riding in the Little Bitches deal. Rode there for several years, learned a lot of stuff, man. I give a huge shout out to Perry Don West, man. He really put me on that bull riding school, and Gary and a few guys like that at their bull riding schools, and Lyle Sankey, and all them guys got a real good school, and that's where I picked up on my stuff at, right off from my early age. I was pretty fortunate at having real good mentors and stuff like that coming up. I was winning a lot of events when I was anywhere from 14 to 18. I think 2 weeks after I turned 18, I was with an IPRA deal. Got hung in my rope pretty good. When I was riding right-handed, took a nasty hanging, broke my shoulder in 86 places in my arm, and 37. Had a horn ran through my neck and busted my trachea. So that put me in a real bad slump, man, for a long time. And just through, God and other good bull riding buddies, man, I just kept getting on practice bulls, and started doing the deal again. Rode a few CBR deals here and there, nothing too much, That wreck kind of got in my head, man. And I mean, you'll get that a lot of times. And a lot of guys, I was fortunate I rode through it. I didn't let it really interfere with my thought of getting on and getting my mindset right and stuff like that. But talk about my sponsors and stuff, man. These small town guys have really put me on, really. I like the small town deals myself better just because I like promoting my hometown, man. We come from a little old place, you know. I try to get everybody out there. They're real friendly, never meet a stranger. M&M, tile, floor, and roofing, they put me on pretty good. My dad, Cow Farm, he just started putting me on pretty good. Cowboy Coffee Chew, man, they put me on pretty good. I know they saved me a lot of money in backer here recently, so that's a pretty good thing.
Absolutely. Now, I want to touch on one thing with your injury that you had talked about. If you could just talk a little closer into the phone for me. What was that injury like, and how was it when you came back from that injury? Because that's an injury a lot of guys won't come back from. How was that? And I mean, you're back riding bulls, you know, going into a big level. So explain that a little more.
Man, honestly, right before I got hurt, man, like Nicholas Savoy would say, I would have got on a 3-headed tiger, man. But that wreck right there really broke my spirit. It really scared me. I was hung. They ended up cutting my handle on my rope and getting me out. But man, it really put me in a bad spot because I thought about hanging it up and stuff for a long time. But honestly, man, just like going back to the bull riding schools, man, the old timers, they kept on me, kept in touch with me and stuff like that. Everybody kept up with my recovery, and they just kept getting me on practice bulls. Now, I go to practice pins and I get on a bull, he'd get hot in the box, I'd get off of him. You know, and I just slowly worked through it, man. I didn't go right back into the rodeo setting. I go to a lot of practice pins, get on a lot of easy stuff just to get my confidence back. But it hasn't been no day off, man. It's not like that I just walk straight back into it with the mindset that I did have then. Even still today,
right.
now today there's not enough money in the world and there's not a bull riding that I would go to and get on without a helmet. Now, I have been to several practice pins where I just didn't have one handy, but to me now, back then, I used to think that not wearing a helmet, I had this image to uphold, and I wanted to be, known as a cowboy kid with an OSB. Like, I thought the helmet thing was just for sissies. I was hardcore. I was a bull rider. I was wearing my hat. But looking at the overall picture and where I want to go now, man, that helmet is a necessity. Because if I don't ride, I don't get paid. And if I don't get paid, then I'm going to be sleeping in the car. And, I mean, it's not about the image to me. I just want to ride bulls. I want to be able to knowingly get on my bull and get back off and know that that helmet is going to help me achieve that so much more on the next ride.
Right. Now, my personal opinion of a helmet is I 100% believe in it. It's obstructive to me, personally. You got guys up here, up in Yankee land, like Patrick Lillis and Big Bram, who just would not wear a helmet, and look at anybody who is wearing a helmet as basically a pussy. You're a pussy. You're not a cowboy if you're wearing a helmet. So I see both sides of it. Cowboys never wore helmets, but I also see brain injuries, which I'm actually having a doctor come on in October about brain injuries in UFC and bull riding and boxing. Because this show, Hollering with Hammer on VictoryLaneRadio.com, that everybody's listening to right now, with 4 cowboys out of Kentucky, Cowboy Coffee Chew guys. The deal is once you get a brain injury or you have some kind of head trauma, your careers are done. Now what are you going to do? So I 100% believe in the helmet. I personally, I think it obstructs too much. Me personally, I have a vision issue out of my right. So the way the helmet would be, I would be obstructed too much. But I see where guys have to wear them, but I've also seen people get hurt with a helmet on. So it's kind of back and forth. But Dakota Walker, what is your opinion on helmet versus cowboy hat?
Helmet or cowboy? I wear a helmet. For me,
okay.
I mean, if like you said, just because you don't wear a helmet don't make you any more man than if you wear a helmet. You're a man whether you get on the back of the bull or not. You're a man. It don't matter if you wear a helmet or not. At the end of the day, I know you got kids. I got kids. Cody's got a kid. We got kids to come home to, you know. We're chasing a paycheck. If we can take a brain injury or anything like that, which anything is possible, but you know we won't be able to take care of our kids. We won't be able to raise our kids. If you take a really bad serious.
Just to make that perfectly clear, you know, Hollering with Hammer, David Hammer, you know, I'll even speak for VictoryLaneRadio.com. We're pro helmet. We're pro helmet. You know, I don't want it to sound like we're not. We're pro helmet. We don't want people with brain injuries. You know, 100% pro helmet over here. So, you know, just to go back to that, Tyler Lee, what's your opinion? Do you ride with a helmet or a cowboy hat?
I ride with my helmet, and I've always rode with my helmet. I don't really, you know, see anything different than riding with a helmet or not. But, you know, like we were down at a practice pen, and a boy got on a bull and he'd rode with his helmet before, and then we told him, hey, you need to put your helmet on. Dakota was there for this. And the next bull out, he got stepped on and almost put him in a coma because luckily we had talked him into putting his helmet on. And if he wouldn't have had his helmet on, you know, he could have been with that brain injury just like you're talking, you know. And then what's he going to do after you have a brain injury? You know, just like they said, it's a paycheck. You know, if we have brain injuries and everything, we're not riding bulls and we're not making money. And so every time, go ahead.
No, it's the same way with UFC cage fighters and which don't wear helmets and boxers. You know, you take too many hits and your career is done. And then what do? If you didn't make the money, you know, people have the misconception of bull riding, which me and Friday Wright have gone into. Last week, Evan Crothers went into it. You know, the money, 1 in 10,000 make the money. So if something happens to you, you're shit out of luck, and what are you gonna do? So changing gears on that, we're gonna switch over to Nick Severi. How you doing tonight, Nick?
Well, I'm glued to the side of my leg right now.
You talking what?
I think I might have just broke a record, Dave. I might have to tell you this off air, but I'm pretty sure I just broke a Hall of Fame record.
Hey, I'm saying if you broke a record, man, I mean, put it out there. I said at 8:30. You guys came on at 8:30. I said at 8:28. If you got kids listening, from 8:30 to 9, you're probably not going to want to listen. And I'm uncensored. This is uncensored radio. You know, I know. You know, I've had serious bull riders on. I've had Friday Wright, religious man with the children. You know, there's no bullshit with him. Hunter Crothers, there's a little bullshit with him, but he's straightforward bull riding all day. You guys, straightforward bull riding all day with bullshit. So let's throw it out there. Well, is it a hashtag don't roll to a car wash incident? Or
it's a hashtag. I just got a blowjob listening to everybody talk right now. And she literally just got out of the truck about 2 minutes ago. So what's up?
Hold on. So what you're saying is bull rider out of Kentucky, Nicholas Severi, just got a blowjob while he was listening to the Hollering with Hammer show. She might have been good looking, son.
Well, man. I'd gave her a solid. I'd give her a solid 5.5.
Solid 5.5. Okay, now a Southerner's solid 5.5 is probably like a 4, right? I mean, be honest. So we're looking at.
Be honest. She's probably a 5. I wouldn't do it to her. Yeah.
Did she still have her front teeth?
Did she have all the front teeth? Front teeth.
Okay, well, I don't know, dude. Maybe that's why that shit was so good.
All right, well, you know, I mean, hey, that's a first for the Hollering with Hammer radio show, and I really hope the children ain't listening, but I told everybody, man, make the children leave. Okay, so a solid 5 gave you a blowjob while you were listening to the show. So did you hear anything about helmet, no helmet? I heard all about it. You were getting your helmet. You were getting your helmet shined up. But what I'm asking is helmet on your head in a cowboy hat.
I actually, to be honest with you, I don't like wearing a helmet. I feel like I ride better without one. But I usually do wear a helmet because I headbutt so many fucking bulls that it ain't, you know what I mean? If I didn't wear a helmet most of the time, then I probably wouldn't have any teeth, to be honest with you. We went to a practice pen, me and Cody, last Sunday, and I headbutted Johnny B so hard I thought it broke my jaw. And if I probably didn't have a helmet on, it probably would have broke it.
Absolutely. What is the deal with you, like with the practice bulls? Me and Dakota were talking about it, but me and you never went into it, me and you were more like, hashtag be handy and all that. Which the East Coast now represents, as you boys know. What is your practice bull schedule? I mean, how many bulls are you getting on in a week?
In a week, probably 3 or 4, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean, I'll get on anything, I probably need to slow down a little bit because I get hurt because I don't know when to stop. I'll keep on getting on. I don't care. You know what I mean? But then again, I don't have any kids to go home to or anything. I'm living wild right now. I don't care.
Right. So now you're getting on 3 or 4 practice bulls. How many women's are you getting on in a week?
This past week has been about.
Go for it. We're wide open radio tonight, man. We're wide open. We got 15 more minutes of wide open.
This past week has been, we think, Dakota, about 5.
Yeah, about 5.
See now, this is an aspect of rodeo that I wanted to put out there, because these other guys, this goes on in rodeo, but you got your religious guys that don't want to talk about this, which is good. I like those guys. I want them guys involved in my show too. But this is an aspect of bull riding world that I want shown, because these are the guys I like. I'm going to be coming to Kentucky at some point, and I know Dakota's talking about possibly coming up here at one point. Stuff like that. So,
I feel like it definitely helps, because if I was a calf roper, I feel like I wouldn't be getting shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just me,
Okay, now, you're also the same guy who took a chick to a barrel racing event. Why would you take a chick to a barrel racing event?
No. Actually, if I remember this right, I didn't take her. I met her up there, and that's because I had nothing else to do, and I didn't have no rodeos to go to. I would definitely not skip rodeo for a barrel racing, but I wanted a piece. I had to ride something that day, and it wasn't going to be a bull.
Dakota Walker, tell the truth on that. Dakota Walker, tell the truth on that, man. No secrets up here. He took a chick to a barrel racing event. Now, who does that?
All I know was I was getting mine back at the house, and he went and done his own thing.
Yeah, but he took you don't take.
I might be a lot of things, David, but I ain't a liar. I did not drive her up there.
He went up there to meet this redhead. I will give him that. He did go up there to meet a girl. I don't know if he took a girl, but I do know he went up there to meet a girl.
Oh, okay. Because I seen on there he took a girl, and I don't know who the hell does that.
He visited barrel racer land, baby.
Barrel racer land. Now, see, if she wanted me to take her up there and she wanted to give me like $500 and I didn't have a rodeo that day, I'd be fine with it if she's going to pay me. But if she ain't going to pay me, then I ain't going to do it.
Nicholas Severi, tell everybody in radio land right now, tell us a story, man, because you're a storyteller. You and Cody Collins, you two are storytellers, man. You got all types of shit with you guys. So go ahead, one of you tell us a story. We got about 10 minutes left of the program. Right before we close, I'll give you guys all an opportunity to say your sponsors one more time. But, let's hear a story, man. You get X-rated if you want to. Cody or Nick?
Cody, you want?
Hey, tell him about that story that time you were down there in Scottsville.
Scottsville? Oh, hell. Oh, this is a great one right here, buddy. Wait. All righty. That's what I'm talking about. So I went down there to the Sabre deal in Scottsville, and I'm standing up there for the rodeo. It's Friday night. Rodeo ain't started yet. I'm standing there talking to my buddy Jesse Adams. You're listening, big shout out. You need to get on here, man. You're a great dude. But I'm standing there talking to my buddy. Here comes this blonde girl walking up there in a white cowboy hat and like an old time blue jean dress. And she kind of gives me a look,
And I look at her, and I nudged my buddy Jesse. I said, I'm going to fuck her tonight. He said, no, you're not. I said, watch me. So I go over there, and I talk to her for about 10 minutes, and they put my bull in the chute. So I go over there. Actually, I get my foot broke, and I get knocked out, get my tooth chipped. But whatever, bad night. And, I get my stuff. I get all my stuff back in my gear bag. I'm walking back over there to my truck, hobbling. I'm about half drunk. And I put all my stuff in my truck. Here she comes walking over here. Well, I sit on the bed of the truck, talk to her for about 5 minutes, and we start making out. She's like, let's go for a ride. I'm like, all right. So I drive down to the other side of the fairgrounds of this pavilion where there ain't nothing going on. So I pull over there on the other side of the pavilion in the dark. Well, we start going after it, and I grab her chest, and it moves out from underneath my hand. And I stop, and I just scared the fuck out of me. I said, I don't know what you got going on down there, but you're going to have to get out of my truck. I don't want it. She reaches her hand in her bra, pulls out a sugar glider. All right. I don't know if y'all know what this is. Like a little bitty flying squirrel. All right. I swear to God. So she sits it on the dash, and she's like, come on, let's just do it anyway. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. All right. So I look over every couple minutes while I'm beating her head off the passenger side window of my truck. And he's just staring at me, sitting on my dash. I got a hood girl on my dash. He's sitting right there next to it, and he's just staring at me. And it's really making me uncomfortable, so I feel like he's just going to jump on me in any second. But he never does. So, moral of this story is if any girl ever tries to talk to you in a blue jean dress, run. Because you don't want it. I don't know if it's as bad as a witch doctor, though.
Hashtag be handy.
Watch him.
Hashtag be handy.
Hey, you don't even want to know what I'd have done to Tails.
Tails, baby.
Now, here's one more question. So the 5-piece that you just had in your truck while you were, listening to the Hollering with Hammer show, is she still with you? Put her on the line.
No, she left. I told her she had to get out because I'm on the radio.
That would have been funny. All right, we'll just go into this real quick. Dakota Walker, you got any sponsors? One last time you want to give some sponsors out or anything?
Yes, sir. We're riding to raise awareness to Cowboy Up for a Cure, and then that Cowboy Coffee Chew is best. I mean, that's helping me quit dipping, and it's giving me caffeine, energy throughout the day and stuff too.
All right, Tyler Lee, anything, any last things you want to say, or any sponsorship or anything like that?
Yes, sir. I just want to say for Cowboy Up for a Cure, we're raising awareness for that. The Cowboy Coffee Chew, they've really helped us all out. They've been a great sponsor so far. We're working on some more sponsors right now. I just want to give a big shout out to my mom. I know she's listening right now, Melissa Lee. She's really helped me out a lot. My buddy Austin Campbell, he's been a lot for help. And then, my younger brother, I'm trying to help him out as much as I can. He's following right in our footsteps. So hopefully he'll come up and he can ride up in the ranks too with us. So, if it wasn't for my brothers, Dakota and Nick and Cody and all them, they've all kept me going for everything I got going on right now. And you, David, I really appreciate everything y'all done and everything, man. Really appreciate it all.
Yeah, absolutely. One more thing I just want to touch on with Tyler Lee. You almost weren't able to call in tonight with your family issues. I'm glad you were able to make it. Next, Nicholas Severi, you got any last thing to say or any sponsorship or anything like that you'd like to get out there?
Yeah, Cowboy Up for a Cure, Cowboy Coffee Chew. I feel like Tyler and Dakota and Cody, I feel like they got that covered. But I want to give a shout out to my buddy Ryan Bennett Trucking. If you're listening, you the man. I'm still waiting on that Apache Jew, but I love you. That's it.
All right. Cody Collins, any sponsorships or anything, any last things you'd like to say?
M&M Tile, Floor, and Roofing, man. That Brandon Montgomery, he's a real good guy, man, does real good work. He's really put me on. Kentucky River Cattle Farms, my daddy, he's really put me on here recently, man. Cowboy Coffee Chew, like Nick said, everybody's kind of covered that, man, but I got to give my respects to him, And really, man, Nicholas Boy, Tyler Lee, and Dakota, man, we really kind of sponsor each other. If somebody's had a slow week and is down and out, man, we try to pick up the slack and help each other out, man. And I'm really glad I ran into these cats, man. I didn't know Dakota's from here in my hometown. I've heard about him coming up through the years, everybody asked me if I knew him and stuff, but at that point in time, I was going to little bigger deals and stuff, and he was just getting into it. And I actually met Nicholas Ceresna. I met him down at Glasgow, Kentucky, man. I was heading out, and I posted something on Facebook, and he was like, "Hey, man, I'll meet you there." I was like, "Well, come on." And this cat goes down there and gets Western, comes running back up, helicopters on his bull, comes running back up the chutes with his chaps wrapped around his ankles, grinning ear to ear. But man, I just want to give a shout-out to those boys, man. Our little rodeo team we got going, handy as heck. We don't ride half the bulls that we should, but I can guarantee you that we're going to give it more try than anybody there and have a lot more fun. And those boys really bear down, man. And you, David, man, I want to give a shout-out to you. You really put us out there. You're a heck of a guy. I mean, you're doing awesome things with this radio show.
Absolutely. I was actually supposed to have somebody call in tonight, and it was an issue with me getting his number. A guy you guys see on social media busting your balls about hats, Patrick Lillis. He's got a lot to say on social media right now. I guess he didn't get the number. He was supposed to call in with you guys and give you guys shit about the no helmets and Nicholas Severi's boots. But absolutely, I'm glad you guys were able to call in. Nick, I'm going to give you the last word tonight, Nick. You got 2 minutes. I'm going to give you the last word.
Well, boys.
Nick's the craziest one out here. And
I just wanted to let
the last word.
Everybody that's listening know is that I'm 168 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. And I've only turned down a handful of girls, so y'all might as well hit me up. And, this crew right here, we're fuckers and fighters and wild bull riders. And you're just going to have to learn us. And you don't mess with our crew because you mess with one of us, by God, you're getting all of us. And David Hammer is the man. David Hammer is the greatest Yankee there ever did was.
Absolutely. I am the greatest radio show host there ever did was. I'll tell you that. All right, guys,
yes,
I'm going to let you go tonight. I'm going to let you guys go tonight. We're going to get you guys all back on again. It's been fun. Thanks for coming on. CowboyCoffee2.com. And what is it? Cowboy Up for a Tier. So, all right. Yep. I appreciate you guys coming on. All right.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Thank you. That was Dakota Walker, Nicholas Severi, Cody Collins, and Tyler Lee, up-and-coming bull riders out of Kentucky. It was good to have them on. I knew they were going to get a little wild. And Patrick Lillis, you were supposed to get on the line with them. I was going to give you open season on them. I don't know what happened with the number. I don't know why you couldn't get through. So, we'll have to arrange that at another time. It's been a great show tonight. I'm glad I was able to get everybody on. It was a little